Introduction and overview of artificial intelligence. Okay, and then I will provide you some material. You will have to go through those material, and in the afternoon I will provide you some MCQ type questions which you are supposed to answer. Please, এক মিনিট। এইটা এখন ওরা দেখতে পাচ্ছে, তাই তো? আমি এটা ইয়ের ভিতরে ঢুকিয়ে দিয়েছি লাইব্রেরিতে। এই দেখো, মাই ডকুমেন্ট, এই যে সমীর রায়, এইটা রয়েছে, ঠিক আছে? আচ্ছা, এইবারে আমি যেটা করতে চাইছি, so let us go to the first session. I will upload the PowerPoint now. এবারে PowerPoint-টা কিভাবে করবো?
डाउनलोड नहीं होगा ना, राइट पड़ गई, ब्राइटनेस वाला
এটা দিয়ে করবো তো?
আচ্ছা,
इसका नाम बताइए ना। शेड्यूल तो डाउनलोड नहीं होगा है ना?
ठीक है सर, मैं पूरा देखो सर, मुझे 15 मिनट बस दीजिए, ठीक है?
नाम ज़्यादा अंदर स्कैन करा था, सब मिला के 10 है ना।
PowerPoint-টা কিভাবে লোড করবো? আমি এটা করলাম, EIU PPT করলাম, হ্যাঁ? এইবারে
এবার ডবল ক্লিক করুন।
ও, ডাবল ক্লিক করলেই হয়ে যাবে। ঠিক আছে,
এটা পয়েন্ট আছে, এটা ক্লিক করুন, আপনি আয়ন
এটা
হ্যাঁ ক্লিক করুন।
So, welcome to this first session, lecture session, which is nothing but an overview of artificial intelligence. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, sir.
ওদের ফিডব্যাকটা কিভাবে নেওয়া যায়? ওদের ফিডব্যাকটা কিভাবে নেব? হ্যালো,
কিবোর্ডটা বার করেন।
আচ্ছা, ঠিক আছে। We can listen. ঠিক আছে। We can listen you how to get the material, sir, how to download the schedule. আচ্ছা, শিডিউলটা ডাউনলোড কিভাবে করতে হয়?
শিডিউলটা আগে দিতে হবে, আর এখানটা স্যার অ্যালাউ করে দিতে হবে।
আচ্ছা, ওকে।
ওকে না, ঠিক রেখে দিতে হবে। एक मिनट दस दस रुपये नहीं मिला दस ही हो गया
ओके
मोबाइल लेने बैठा है अब बंद कर दो आप कहीं गए તમને રસ મને રસ બસ થોડું बंद करो
Will you wear that?
बोला आप मदद कर दो
গুড আমি নিয়েছি শুধু শুধু আমাকে দেখিয়ে দাও যে পাওয়ার পয়েন্টের পরের স্লাইডে যাবো কি আমি হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ
এই যে স্যার এটা দিয়ে আগে এটা দিয়ে
আচ্ছা বেশ বেশ ঠিক আছে ঠিক আছে
এটা হচ্ছে পয়েন্টটা
এটাকে বন্ধ করবি
এটাকে বন্ধ করুন। আর যদি বোর্ডে লিখতে চান না স্যার
হ্যাঁ।
এই জাস্ট হোয়াইট বোর্ড নেবেন
হুম
এই টুলবারটা খুলবেন হাত দিয়ে খুলবেন হ্যাঁ? এই পেনটা এই পেন নেবেন নিয়ে
ঠিক আছে ঠিক আছে
তখন
হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে
আমি পেন দিয়েও লিখতে পারবেন পরপর জানবি সবাই
So let us come to the academic discussion. So here is the, you can say the origin of artificial intelligence. It started with the term artificial intelligence was coined by John McCarthy. John McCarthy was one of the pioneers in the field of artificial intelligence. In as early as 1965, he coined the word artificial intelligence, and the purpose of artificial intelligence, or the basic, what should I say, the basic assumption on the basis of which the artificial intelligence subject was developed was stated by him in the Dartmouth conference in 1965. And here is a statement. It says that the study is to proceed on the basis of the conjecture that every aspect of learning or any other feature of intelligence can, in principle, be so precisely described that a machine can be made to simulate it. So I repeat the statement by conjecture by John McCarthy. The study is to proceed on the basis of the conjecture that every aspect of learning or any other feature of intelligence can, in principle, be so precisely described that a machine can be made to simulate it. So the fundamental conjecture about artificial intelligence is whatever we call intelligence, okay, or the symptoms of intelligence are basically algorithmic. It means that whenever we human beings or any other intelligent being shows, or I mean living being shows some intelligent behavior, what actually happens is a very complex kind of algorithm runs in the brain of the human being or other living being, and the manifestation of that running of sophisticated algorithm is what we call the phenomenon of intelligence. That is the meaning of the sentence, that every aspect of learning or any other feature of intelligence can in principle be so precisely described that a machine can be made to simulate it. Now, on the basis of this assumption or this conjecture, we can think of a preliminary definition of artificial intelligence, which can be stated as artificial intelligence or AI is a study of how to simulate intelligence on computers, how to simulate intelligence on computers. Now, now the question boils down to if we want to simulate intelligence on computers or any machine, then naturally the question comes, what is intelligence anyway? Now that is a very complex question because we do not have any direct answer to the question, because like many other basic things in life and nature, intelligence is also something which we can recognize very easily because we are intelligent beings. Okay, so one of the characteristics of intelligence is we are able to recognize the manifestation of intelligent behavior. Okay, but a non-intelligent being cannot do this. So we can recognize intelligence, but if we ask to define intelligence, it becomes difficult for us. However, allow me to present a few definitions of intelligence provided by philosophers, and then we shall go into the technological part of it. Okay, so here is the first definition provided by the good old Aristotle. Okay, so Aristotle said intelligence is a state of grasping the truth involving reason, concerned with action about what is good or bad for a human being. To be able to deliberate finely about what is good or beneficial for himself, not about some restricted area, but about living well in general. So here is a definition of intelligence provided by Aristotle, the classical definition, and you can see that grasping the meaning of this definition of intelligence itself is a matter of intelligence. But something which we can guess very easily is Aristotle, while defining intelligence, Aristotle is looking into the matter from an ethical point of view and from an existential point of view. That means he is considering intelligence from the point of view of how to distinguish between good and bad, okay, and how to decide what is good for us, our existence, for our living in general, and take action according to that. So that is what Aristotle has said. Now we go to the next definition, which is provided by Henri Bergson. Okay, Henri Bergson is also a very famous philosopher in the 19th century, I think 19th century or 20th century. And he said that intelligence is the faculty of making artificial objects, especially tools to make tools. So Bergson is looking into the phenomenon of intelligence from a completely different point of view. Okay, so while Aristotle's point of view was ethical and existential, Bergson's point of view is completely from the point of view of what should I say, making the capacity of making artifices, the capacity of making things, especially tools. And if you concentrate on this definition of Bergson, you will see that though it seems to be very simple, but actually it contains deep insight into the nature of intelligence. Because when we make tools, actually we show the capacity of planning, capacity of abstraction, capacity of thinking beyond time. Okay, so these are all very important characteristics of intelligence. So Birdsall has concentrated on these aspects of intelligence. Fine. Next definition is provided by Robert Sternberg. He says that an intelligent agent is one that exhibits goal-directed adaptive behavior. Goal-directed adaptive behavior. So here is another aspect of intelligence. That means goal-directedness. This is another thing which is very common among all of us, because all human beings are goal-directed. We set some goal ahead of us, and we control our behavior in such a way that we are able to achieve that goal. And our behavior is directed towards achieving the goal, as a result of which our behavior is adaptive. Why it is adaptive? Because depending upon the situation, we have to take different kinds of actions so that the ultimate goal is achieved. So this is exactly what happens in a game of football. Okay, both the teams have a goal, but how to achieve the goal, that depends upon the situation. That is a game. That is a game. To take decisions, to behave, to direct our behavior in an adaptive way with a goal in mind. So this is what Robert Sternberg said. Then comes F. Scott Fitzgerald. He said, intelligence is the ability to hold opposed ideas in the mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. I repeat, intelligence is the ability to hold opposed ideas in the mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. So this is another point of view from which intelligence is analyzed. And again, we all testify that this is a very real thing in life. We know that various people put forward various kinds of ideas, various kinds of ethical ideals into our mind, which are always conflicting with each other. But our mind, our intelligence is capable of still carrying on, still retain the ability to function under the pressure of such opposing ideas. Sometimes we know that there are fragile human beings who cannot tolerate, who cannot endure the pressure of opposed ideas in the mind, and that creates psychological problem in them. Sometimes that may lead to suicide or such drastic activities also, actions also, if someone is unable to endure the pressure created by opposed ideas in our mind. But most of us have the common sense. Most of us have the intelligence to retain our own sense of judgment, to decide what is good for us, what is good for my own existence, and act according to that. So again, F. Scott Fitzgerald's definition of intelligence, this is the fourth definition that we are considering. Intelligence is the ability to hold opposed ideas in the mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. This is the last definition I am going to present, and this is not by any philosopher. This is from Webster's dictionary, which says that ability to learn or understand from experience, ability to acquire and retain knowledge, mental ability, the ability to respond quickly and successfully to a new situation, use of the faculty of reason in solving problem, directing conduct, etc. effectively. So this is not a single sentence, but what Webster's dictionary presents us is nothing but a list of intelligent behaviors which we can expect from any intelligent agent. And these include the ability to learn or understand from experience, ability to acquire and retain knowledge, mental ability, ability to respond quickly and successfully to a new situation, use of the faculty of reason in solving problems, directing conduct, etc. effectively. So what do we conclude from all those definitions? We conclude that intelligence is a multi-dimensional phenomenon. Intelligence is something which cannot be defined in a single sentence. But from our practical knowledge, our day-to-day activities, our experience of life tells us that there is one reason for which intelligence is very much helpful for us. What is that reason? Intelligence helps us to resolve complexities of life and reality. Okay, so we human beings are intelligent. That is why we can resolve complexities, we can solve complex problems and make our life more comfortable, quality of life, enhanced quality of life, other than the other creatures of the nature. And in human beings also, we see that those who are more intelligent, they are entrusted with tasks which are more complex. On the other hand, among us human beings, those are less intelligent, they are entrusted with tasks which requires less intelligence, more mundane tasks. So, one thing is sure about intelligence, that it helps us to resolve complexities of life and enhance the quality of life in us human beings. So when you look at artificial intelligence from this point of view, we see that artificial intelligence, the purpose of artificial intelligence is nothing but what the purpose of other technological endeavors are. That means to improve the quality of life, to solve more and more complex problems, to help us, the human beings. So with this thing in our mind, we proceed. Now, one more interesting thing I would like to mention here, that is a theory of multiple intelligence put forward by Howard Gardner in 1983. He said, or he identified, that there are 8 kinds of intelligence. Okay, 8 kinds of intelligence, and these are visual or spatial intelligence, interpersonal intelligence, logical or mathematical intelligence, verbal or linguistic intelligence, musical intelligence, bodily or kinesthetic intelligence, naturalistic intelligence, and intrapersonal intelligence. So 8 kinds of intelligence are there. It's not that one who is capable of solving mathematical problems is the only manifestation of intelligence, but someone who can talk very nice, who can convince people, but he may not be able to solve complex mathematical problems. That doesn't imply that he is less intelligent than the mathematical mind, because that person has a verbal or linguistic intelligence, while the first person had logical or mathematical intelligence. Similarly, someone who is very much apt to musical instruments, but not good in our, say, physics, chemistry, mathematics, or not good in verbal expression, we will say that that person, he or she, has a musical intelligence. A good basketball player is showing bodily or kinesthetic intelligence. Similarly, interpersonal intelligence means someone who is capable of interacting with people very nicely. That is another kind of intelligence, and we know that leadership quality, one of the indispensable things about leadership quality is the existence of interpersonal intelligence. Okay. On the other hand, intrapersonal intelligence is also another kind of intelligence. If a person is introvert, not very extrovert, he cannot lead people, but he can sit still and meditate and do some kind of creative work. We will say that that fellow, that guy has intrapersonal intelligence. The other guy who is showing leadership qualities has interpersonal intelligence. So you see that intelligence is quite a multidimensional thing, and there are 8 basic intelligence behaviors. This is put forward by Howard Gardner in 1983. It is called multiple intelligence, theory of multiple intelligence. And the nice thing is, Howard Gardner said that every human being has at least one kind of intelligence. out of these 8 kind of intelligence. So there is no human being as far as a normal and a healthy human being is concerned. Of course, if the person is a abnormal person, then this theory doesn't hold good for him or her. So for a normal person, there is no such thing as a non-intelligent person. Every person is intelligent because every person must show at least one kind of intelligence. Sometimes people show more than one kind of intelligence among them. So that's a good thing. From nowadays, remember that never you say this person is a very foolish person, because there is no such thing as a foolish person. Every person is intelligent. Only you have to find what kind of intelligence is there inside that fella. Okay. অয়ন, আচ্ছা এদের so let us so before you go for the tea break, let me present the workable definition of AI. আচ্ছা লোকগুলোকে দেখা যায় কিভাবে? ভিডিও নাকি ইউজার্স?
এখান থেকে রাইট ক্লিক করবেন আর ভিউ ভিডিও করবেন, প্রত্যেকটা ইউজ করবেন। রাইট ক্লিক করুন, এদের তো ইন্টারাকশন চালু আছে, এদের ভিউ আর এগুলো দেখতে পাবেন।
আচ্ছা
ঠিক আছে। আর যাদের আপনি এমনি দেখতে চান এখানে রাইট ক্লিক করবেন, ভিউ ভিডিও করুন, ভিউ আর যান।
So let us depart for 10 minutes for
টি ব্রেক দিকে।
আচ্ছা
আর এখানে টাইমটা দিয়ে দেবেন, সেট করে দেবেন।
आपको कॉल आया था एक्चुअली मैं टेक्निकल पर्सन हूँ ना, मेरा एकेडमिक्स में मेरा कोई हाथ नहीं, आपको एकेडमिक कॉन्टेक्ट करना पड़ेगा। नहीं इस वक्त का मोमेंट मैंने पता था, ठीक है, वो बोले आपको शिक्षण का नंबर आपको ये से मिल जाएगा साइट से। आप काम कीजिए, आपका यूजर आईडी और पासवर्ड मुझको बताइए, ठीक है, मैं एकेडमिक से बात करके वो आपका यूजर आईडी पासवर्ड नहीं आया, आप एक काम कीजिए, एडमिन का साइट में जाइए, admin.in AVIEW, हाँ AVIEW, all are small, .in
और তুমি আছো তো এখানে?
हाँ सर,
হ্যাঁ তাহলে আমি একটুখানি কাজ করে আসি। হ্যাঁ
review.in पे जाइए, हाँ ब्राउजर से, वहां पर जाके आप रजिस्टर कीजिए अपना नाम, ठीक है, अपना नाम रजिस्टर कीजिए पूरा कॉलेज का डिटेल्स भर के अपना यूजर आईडी पासवर्ड वहां से मिल जाएगा आपको, ठीक है। उससे नहीं होगा, आपको आप रजिस्टर साइन अप कीजिए। साइन अप करने से, ठीक है, जो यूजर आईडी पासवर्ड आपको मिलेगा उससे आप एबीयू को डाउनलोड कीजिए अपने मशीन में, ठीक है। उसके बाद आप यूजर आईडी पासवर्ड मुझे सेंड कीजिए, ठीक है। यूजर आईडी पासवर्ड बना के मुझे सेंड कीजिए, मैं देखता हूँ, ठीक है। जाकी बातें करते पानी क्या पानी। हेलो हेलो। अच्छा, ये आपका हुआ सेम प्रॉब्लम हो गई है भी। आपने वो रीलॉगिन कर रहे हैं ना, रीलॉगिन? हाँ सर, रीलॉगिन कर रहे हैं आप? रीलॉगिन री री
Good afternoon. So welcome back. I hope I am audible to all of you. So let us continue our discussion. So we go back to our prior point.
आप करिए देखिए शीशा दिखा रहा है प्रॉब्लम हुआ प्रॉब्लम क्या है इधर क्या है ये गलत नहीं हुआ
Hello. Should I continue? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Oh, thank you. So you can hear me. So now we have concentrated on the nature of intelligence. What do we actually mean by intelligent behavior? And we started with a definition, preliminary definition, that AI is a study of how to simulate intelligence on computers. Right now, after having a closer look into the nature of intelligence, we have come up with a better definition of artificial intelligence. So, and better and workable definition of artificial intelligence, which goes like this: AI is a study of how to make computers do things at which, at the moment, we the people are better. Is it okay? और एक मिनट येटा দেখাও তো ওইটা যেন কিভাবে আনতে ওই পয়েন্টারটা ঠিক আছে. So AI is a study of how to make computers do things at which, at the moment, we the people are better performers. Fortunately, though all of us are aware of the formidable capacity of computers, because we know that computers are very, very fast and they can solve problems without committing any mistake. They never get bored, they never complain. So all these good things are there for the computers, for which we entrust the computers to do a lot of things which we ourselves like to avoid. But fortunately, there are some things at which still we, the human beings, are better. So let us have a look into the kind of things that we human beings perform, and then we will see that since these things are better done by human beings, in order to make the computer smart and in order to make it intelligent, we would like that it should be able to carry out this kind of things like human beings, right? So let us have a look into different kinds of tasks that we people do. They can be categorized into three kinds of tasks. These are called mundane tasks, formal tasks, expert tasks. Okay. So what is a mundane task? A mundane task is one which requires no conscious effort on our part. Okay. Examples of perception, that is vision, speech, natural language, understanding, generation, translation, common sense reasoning, robot control, and so on. So why do we call it mundane? Because suppose I am walking, you are walking along the road, and while you are walking, sometimes you find that you have to, there is some staircase, so your movement of the legs are as per the structure of the staircase. Sometimes I see that there is a small pool of water, so we jump over it. Okay. Sometimes we see that someone is walking towards me, so in order to avoid a collision, we just change the direction. And so many things we go on doing while we are walking, and all these things we are doing spontaneously without any conscious effort of our mind. Similarly, when we are talking, when we are making gestures, okay, when we are looking into a picture and recognizing various elements in that, when I am meeting my friend and as soon as I meet him, I recognize that this is my friend. Okay, I recognize the face of that fellow. Even if I meet someone after 20 years, during which the configuration of the face has changed a lot, but still from the memory of our childhood, we are able to recognize that fellow. So all these things we are doing without any conscious effort. We do it spontaneously, we do it very easily. And in general, we do not consider it to be a sign of intelligence, that someone is walking, someone is talking, right, someone is learning. These are more or less common things which all human beings can do. So we don't like to associate it with intelligence, but these mundane tasks are being done by us every time, always, I mean, without any extra effort. Similarly, common sense reasoning or robot control means controlling the various parts of our body. So this is the first category of works, the first category of tasks that we human beings do better than computers. Next comes formal tasks. Formal tasks are those which involve manipulation of a symbolic structure with the help of a certain rules and conventions. Examples of formal tasks are games, any kind of game. Of course, any kind of games, those games which are mental, I mean not kinesthetic skills are required, like playing football or cricket or similar things, not sports, but chess, tic-tac-toe, playing a game of tic-tac-toe or Rubik cube. Okay, so these are mind games. In order to play these games, you need to apply your mind only. No physical skill is required for them. So these can be considered to be formal tasks. Similarly, the entire branch of mathematics is a typical example of formal tasks. Okay, geometry, logic, arithmetic, algebra. Because if you look very minutely into the activity of mathematics, you will see that it is nothing but manipulation of symbols according to certain rules. Okay, so for addition you have a certain set of rules. For multiplication you have another set of rules. For integration you have a set of rules. Similar things. So mathematics is nothing but you have certain symbols. What is the meaning of those symbols is the concern of the application of the mathematics. Okay, when you are applying mathematics for everyday life, there is arithmetic. When you are applying mathematics for, say, some sophisticated scientific work, then that is more sophisticated kind of mathematics. But ultimately, if you confine yourself within the mathematical system itself, you will find that it is nothing but manipulation of symbols. You have certain symbols and there is certain rules according to which you manipulate those symbols. So mathematics itself is a typical example of formal tasks. And the last category of tasks that we human beings do always is called expert task. What is an expert task? A task that requires study, training and experience in some specific domain of knowledge is called an expert task. Okay, so examples of expert tasks are engineering, design, planning, troubleshooting, scientific analysis, medical diagnostics, treatment, financial analysis, all kinds of professional knowledge and skill. These are called expert tasks, and one gathers this knowledge through careful study over the years, and not only that, after a lot of practice. Years of practice makes us more perfect in our own volition. Teaching is one such example. You know that a teacher is not created in one day. Okay, so even if you have the subject knowledge, you must have experience of how to deliver the knowledge to the students so that the students can understand, the students are benefited from your knowledge. Your knowledge is transferred to the students. So that requires a lot of experience, that requires practice. Okay, through practice we gain that skill. So three kinds of tasks that we human beings perform. One is the mundane tasks. Mundane tasks are the everyday tasks that all human beings carry on without any conscious effort. Then comes the formal task. A formal task is something which is rule based in a artificial world, like a chessboard or a game of tic-tac-toe or mathematics, algebra. So it is an artificial world created by human beings, consisting of certain rules and regulations, and the manipulation of that world with the help of those rules. This is called formal task. And finally, the expert task, various kinds of expertises that we human beings develop for the sake of a profession and our everyday living. So these are the three kinds of tasks that we human beings excel more than computers. So if we set a primary goal for artificial intelligence, it will be how to make computers smart enough so that this kind of tasks can be performed by them, or rather how the computer can help us intelligently to carry out this kind of works that we perform. So this is a primary goal of artificial intelligence. Some of the areas where AI has been successfully employed and implemented: natural language processing. I think most of you may have the experience of Google Translator. Nowadays, Google Translator has become very much popular among the tourists. So you can go to anywhere in the world nowadays, practically, and the life of a traveler or tourist has become so easy. You have the Google Translator with you, and whatever query you have, you say it in your own language or perhaps in English, and you set the target language, and the Google Translator will provide the translated version of the of your query, either in textual form or in voice forms, so that it acts as an interpreter between you and a person from a foreign country. So this is a product of natural language processing. So natural language processing has become nowadays a very common thing in everyday life, and AI, artificial intelligence, is behind these things. Then intelligent retrieval from databases, okay, expert consulting systems, generally known as expert systems, automatic theorem proving, robotics, automatic programming, combinatorial and scheduling problems, image processing, fuzzy systems, neural networks, and so on and so forth. Everywhere you go nowadays, people talk about intelligent systems because that is a buzzword nowadays, and you will see that nowadays big data, cloud computing, then deep learning, all these things have become almost vocabularies of everyday life. So behind all these things, artificial intelligence is there. So these are, you can say, certain areas in which artificial intelligence has successfully employed and implemented. Okay. Next slide. Here we show certain issues of artificial intelligence. It starts with first order predicate logic, FOPL, which is the most fundamental kinds of knowledge representation technique. We will discuss first order predicate logic to a great extent tomorrow, and there are other knowledge representation techniques like semantic networks, conceptual dependency, frames, scripts, and so on and so forth. Expert systems, state space search or heuristic search. We will have ample discussion on this state space search, planning, natural language processing, logic programming, symbolic reasoning under uncertainty, statistical reasoning, fuzzy systems, neural networks, game playing, and so on and so forth. These are some of the issues of artificial intelligence, and we will focus our attention on the fundamental and basic principles of artificial intelligence rather than going into the details of its application areas, because we have less time. So we have to focus on the essential part of the subject, which convey the spirit of the subject to you. Before we conclude this session, I would like to mention one very important thing that is called physical symbol system hypothesis. And this physical symbol system hypothesis was put forward by Newell and Simon in 1976, who were two scientists working on the nature of intelligence. How intelligence comes into being? What are the sufficient, necessary and sufficient conditions for intelligent behavior? And they come up with a concept called physical symbol system, which I request you to go through very carefully. Okay, so this is the definition of a physical symbol system. A physical symbol system consists of a set of entities called symbols, which are physical patterns that can occur as components of another type of entity called an expression or symbol structure. Thus, a symbol structure is composed of a number of instances or tokens of symbols related in some physical way, such as one token being next to other. At any instant of time, the system will contain a collection of these symbol structures. Besides these structures, the system also contains a collection of processes that operates on expressions to produce other expressions, process of creation, modification, reproduction and destruction. A physical symbol system is a machine that produces through time an evolving collection of symbol structures. Such a system exists in a world of objects wider than just these symbolic expressions themselves. It may look a little bit complicated, but if you very carefully look into the definition of physical symbol system, এটা একটু লাগিয়ে দাও, খুলে আসছে কেন? You will find that the concept of physical system is closely related to our faculty of using languages. When we speak or when we think in terms of language. You cannot think without any language. Okay, you can have emotions, you can have pain, you can have joy, which is beyond language. But thinking is closely related to language. Now, what is this language? This language consists of certain symbols, and with the help of those symbols, we create sentences. These sentences are representation of physical world outside ourselves. When I am saying that there is a flower, there is a rose on the say on the platter, on the vase. Okay, there is a rose in a vase. It means that this is a sentence, there is a rose in a vase, but this sentence is representative of the reality which is outside world, which is in the outside world, and the picture of that reality is created in our brain with the help of these expressions. There is a rose in the vase, flower vase. And now with the help of this expression we can ask, what is the color of that rose? Okay, so from one symbolic expression our brain is creating another symbolic expressions. We are transforming another symbolic expression, which is a question. Now someone answers, the rose is red. So that is another sentence, another picture is being created in our mind. So physical symbol system means a machine which is capable of creating and manipulating such symbolic structures within itself. Now, what is the physical symbol system hypothesis? This is provided by Newell and Simol. They say that a physical symbol system has a necessary and sufficient means for general intelligent action. Okay, so according to the Simon and Newell, a being, be it a human being or any other natural creation, natural being, that means a living being, or a computer or a robot, it is capable of showing intelligent behavior if and only if within the system itself there is the capacity to create a physical symbol system and manipulate the expressions of physical symbol system within the agent itself. Only then the agent will be capable of showing intelligent behavior. So physical symbol system has the necessary and sufficient means for general intelligent action.
ठीक है क्योंकि यहाँ पर सिर्फ मैंने करने से नहीं उसके बाद फंडिंग का भी होता है।
We are almost towards the end of this initial session. The last thing that I am going to discuss is how to know whether a computer is intelligent or not. Imagine a situation where the manufacturer will be certifying that this is an intelligent computer. Now we know that whenever some specification is given regarding some product, there must be a test to verify the manufacturer's claim. For example, if the manufacturer says that this car is capable of running with a speed of say 100 kilometers per hour, and the fuel consumption will be such liters, okay, rating will be at kilometers, some kilometers, say 15 kilometers per liter of petrol. This is the claim of the manufacturer of the car. There must be a test to verify whether the claim made by the manufacturer is true or not. Similarly, if artificial intelligence really occurs and the manufacturer includes artificial intelligence in the computer so that the computer is AI enabled, then we must have some kind of test to ascertain that okay, what the manufacturer has claimed is correct. So what should be the appropriate test for artificial intelligence enabled computer or computing machinery? Now this is a very complex question. Fortunately, the legendary figure in computer science, namely Alan Turing, he put forward his famous Turing test, concept of Turing test, in a path-breaking and seminal paper called Computing Machinery and Intelligence, which was published in the most respected journal of philosophy called Mind in 1950. You can go to internet and this paper is freely available. Some people, they consider this paper to be the most important paper, research paper published in the field of artificial intelligence. Anyway, so what is the ultimate capability of a computer? Theoretical limit. That is nicely summarized by this concept of Turing test, which was put forward, which was proposed by Alan Turing. Let me explain the concept of a Turing test, which is very easy essentially. Suppose that there is a computer, okay, there is a computer which is supposed to be intelligent, and there is a lady, a human being, and they are staying inside two different rooms, the rooms which are enclosed. You cannot see who is inside the room from outside. One of this room contains the lady and the other room contains the intelligent computer. But which room contains the lady or a human being and which room contains the computer, that is unknown to us. Exactly, that is exactly which we are trying to find. Who is the lady and who is the computer. We have to identify the lady and identify the computer. That is our task. But in order to do so, the only thing that we can do is to ask questions to them, and that too through some impersonal technique like a teleprinter. Okay, so here is an interrogator. The interrogator can ask questions to A or B, and A or B will answer those questions. This communication will take place through a teleprinter, so that some non-intelligent symptom like voice or gesture or behavior kind of thing doesn't give any clue to the interrogator, to the person outside, regarding the identity of the element, identity of the entity, identity of the agent who is inside the room. So the interrogator or the outside person has to make a conclusion only on the basis of the responses against the questions put forward by the interrogator. So that is a technique. Now, Turing says that if after sufficient amount of questioning, the interrogator outside the rooms is unable to distinguish the computer from the human being, then we will say that the computer is really intelligent. It means that the computer has all the necessary softwares inside it to mimic, to fake the behavior of a human being, to fake or to mimic the intelligent behavior of a human being. It can do it in so perfect manner that the person outside, who himself or herself is an intelligent being, is incapable, unable to distinguish the computer from the human being. If such a capacity can be imparted inside a computer, only then we will be able to say that the computer has passed the Turing test. As you can understand, though the concept is very simple, but actually it embeds very deep-rooted understanding of the concept of computation and the capability of a computer. The ultimate capacity of a computer. Perhaps it will take 1,000 years, more than 1,000 years, millions years for us human beings to create a real computer which will pass the Turing test. If we are able to do that, we will be considered as gods. Okay, we will create real intelligent beings which can compete with human beings also. But of course, this is an ideal situation, but we can apply it in real life in a limited sense. For example, suppose we have created a special computer for playing the game of chess. Then, in order to ascertain whether the computer is really intelligent, we may confine that all the questions that has to be asked to the computer must be related to the game of chess only. So, if after sufficient amount of questioning in the domain of chess playing, the human being is unable to distinguish the human being from the computer, then we will say that yes, we have really made a computer capable of capable of playing the game of chess. So the basic concept of Turing test can be applied in real life in a limited sense and can be utilized for the purpose of testing the demand, testing whether we are really successful in creating intelligent computers. Okay, so here is a summary of what we have discussed right now. Intelligence is a phenomenon which is easy to recognize but hard to define, and moreover we have seen that intelligence is a multi-dimensional phenomenon. You cannot define it in a single sentence. Artificial intelligence is a branch of computer science that studies how to make computers do things in which we, the human beings, are presently better performers. The three main categories of human activities are mundane tasks, formal tasks, and expert tasks. The physical symbol system hypothesis provided the necessary and sufficient condition for intelligent action. And finally, Turing test gives us an absolute way to judge whether a machine is intelligent or not. So that is the end of this lecture session, and it's already time for lunch. We will disperse for lunch and we will again meet after lunch. The lunch time is 1 hour, that means from 1 to 2. But after this lunch also, I will give you some time to study the material that has been discussed right now. I am uploading the PDF version of this PowerPoint presentation for you to go through, so that when we meet again, when we start again the session at 2:30, we can discuss about whatever we have discussed right now, and then we will go to the next lecture, and the next lecture will be on the topic of the characteristics of an intelligent technique. What makes a computer programming intelligent in contrast with non-intelligent or traditional computer programming. So friends, thank you very much for your patience, kind hearing. I am now uploading the two things, the schedule of the program, tentative schedule of the program, and the PDF version of the PowerPoint that we have presented right now. Thank you very much. আচ্ছা এটাকে বন্ধ করে দিন,
ব্লক করে এই ক্যামেরাটা লাইটিংটা সাউন্ড অফ করে
এটা বন্ধ করে